And thank you for your questions that you asked. I'm looking forward to. I've read them, and I'll tell you something about my response to some of them because you made me think a lot. So, thank you.
じゃあまずこれですね。Mindfulness for You っていうことで、まず1番からですね。フローレンスさん、so if you don't mind sharing what first brought you to mindfulness もし差し支えなければマインドフルネスへと導かれたきっかけをお聞かせいただけますでしょうか。
Gosh, thank you so much for the question. I'm really so happy to meet you, and I know I would love to hear all of your stories. What brought you to mindfulness? I always wonder how long of a story to tell. You know, I could say, well, my mother and father met each other, and then I was born, and we go the long story. But I won't. I won't do that. I felt a longing, a deep longing to understand life more.
私は、
There was some mystery that I felt, but I needed guidance on accessing that in me. I think I knew it was there, but it was like how to actually live with this alive. I met a meditation teacher when I was 26 years old, and I'm not 26 now. That's a long time ago. And I was inspired to keep meditating. That's actually, meditation flame was lit for me there. You know, we could take the whole time talking about this. It's an important question for each of us to ask ourselves, really. So, two more things about this question. I know we keep expanding. There was the inspiration to find what was called consciousness, you know, that awareness. What is mindfulness? But it was also the awareness of the body. And the other part of it was that there was a longing to share with others, hey, this is good news. We have a power of mindfulness, a power of awareness in each of us that we can actually become more familiar with. And so I long to share that with others. And so here, teaching in some way. So I have a feeling your questions will interconnect in lots of ways. So let's move to the next question.
2番目ですね。Looking back, is there a particular meaningful or surprising experience that has stayed with you? これまでの歩みの中で特に心に残っているありがたい驚きの体験があればお聞かせください。
Thank you. So this question made me stop. I couldn't come up with one. I think it was one experience. And what happened was I thought of so many people, transformation, that I could say a few. So as you know, the stress reduction program, the mindfulness-based stress reduction program, was in a hospital. It began in a hospital, and there was a stress reduction classroom in an outpatient building. So many people were referred by their doctors. So one story that I remember was a woman saying, I didn't know I wasn't my thoughts. What happens when we realize we're more than our thoughts? That there's an awareness that knows, that can comprehend that there's a thought. That's more than the thinking mental, cognitive power. It's good, but it's not the whole story.
うん、
We're more than our thoughts. We're more than our physical sensations. We're more than the emotions because we can know them.
うん、
From awareness, they can be known. So I'll tell one more story. Touched me deeply. At the end of the MBSR class, people wanted to offer something from their lives. You probably do this too. Something, a poem or a story from their lives. Okay. So there was a woman who was trained to be an interpreter for the hearing impaired.
うん、
So it was sign language.
うん、うん、
So it was the last class, and throughout the class, the woman, the interpreter, was struggling that all she had trained for, she was losing because she was diagnosed and couldn't move her hands. So the last class, the interpreter gave a poem that she had written to a friend that she made in the class. The friend read the poem and the woman signed it. But it was painful for her, but it was her way of saying, this is the end for me. I have to regroup my life. And the class, people were crying, so affected by, this was transformation, but painful. Yeah. So, isn't it true that mindfulness shines the light on what is happening now? And when we can see clearly with kindness toward ourselves, we make a choice. What is called for now? How best to take care of this issue? I'm going to share an image with you that I think really happens in MBSR. Not to every person, but a process. So mindfulness allows us to see, what is this? What's right here? The image is, imagine if you were standing under a waterfall. It's just coming down, a very big waterfall.
この、
The girl, the interpreter, when she was struggling, she was right under the waterfall.
うん、
It's hard to know what the wisest action is if you're totally overwhelmed. But if we step back and we can not be under the falls, but see the falls, that stepping back is a step into awareness. So mindfulness doesn't fix anything, but it allows us to relate to what is going on in our life more skillfully. So maybe another question now. We may not get to everyone, but let's see.
3番目はですね、長年の実践を通じてマインドフルネスの理解はどのように変化してきましたかと、こういうご質問ですね。
Okay, and I think the fourth question is, if I could say something about mindfulness as a path of love and transformation, I think that was...
で、4つ目の質問についてもですね、お話しできるんじゃないかなと。マインドフルネスは愛と癒し、変容の道と。これはバイオの中に、経歴の中に書いてあったんですね。表現されているんですよね。これについて少しお話してもらえますか？ Love、それからヒーリング、トランスフォーメーションの道なんだと。これについてもお話ししていただければということです。
I would say that it's deepened. It's not a technique, it's a way of being in my life. You know, when we learn, it's like learning the alphabet. We start or learning notes to play a piano or an instrument. we begin with that kind of step by step, but then mindfulness becomes a way that we be in our lives. It's available. It's more available to us in any given moment if we practice. And the question following that was about how is this a path of healing and transformation and love? That was the fourth question. So we know about responding and reacting. I forgot where you are in the course, but you know, the knee-jerk, somebody says something, we just act. It's not aware. I think we all know reactivity. So mindfulness, one way it's talked about is that it's like creates a space between the experience and the reactivity. It allows us to step out of the waterfall for even a breath and then to look again. I'd say that's transformation itself. When we react, it's impulsive often. It's conditioned. It's but something we learned, but we're imprisoned by it, the reactivity. So if we were reactive and we said something mean, harsh to somebody else, there would be damage. There would be work to repair that. But when we have a tool, a way of being that that knows about reactivity, we're going to still react. But that we're wise enough to say, let me just take a moment here, a pause of mindfulness, and then see what the action is. It gives a little more space. What if the reactivity was to criticize yourself, to feel fear, to feel I can't do this, I'm not up to this, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, you know, all of those that we do to ourselves. That reactivity that brings us to, confines us. With mindfulness, look again. Please look again. So much beauty in everyone here. As Jon Kabat-Zinn says, there's genius, there's wholeness in each of us. It's here to be discovered. I think we all know that reactivity, especially when you're on a path of teaching mindfulness-based stress reduction. There's a lot to learn. It's about being mindful. I so appreciate your questions, and I'd love to sit with you and just keep talking and hear more. But I just want to make a deep bow to each of you for the choices you're making in your life. I appreciate all of you so much, and very much appreciate your teachers and the generous hearts that they offer all of us. So thank you. I'm just going to say one more thing. To train as an MBSR teacher, you're on a path of awareness, of the awareness, compassion, and service. And you probably know there are teachers in almost every single country. I don't think Antarctica yet, but maybe. So we don't know, you know, whether you get people together for a class. All of that may be a work ahead. Right now, you are cultivating your presence as being awake, compassionate in the world, and the world needs each of us doing this. So allow this transformation, the love, the healing for you, because that will flow to others. Let's take a few breaths together, and I'll ring a bell, and just we'll close that way. So with the difference of day and night, morning and evening, different countries, different languages, we are flowing together. We're flowing in a river of awareness that brings us together, even when we haven't met each other physically. Thank you, friends. Thank you.